starting with a boxing round. They have bigger 16-ounce gloves, and they have helmets on. So it's much more difficult to get a real edge in boxing, and they're not allowed to go full contact, which, is sometimes...
I think you can touch.
You can touch, but you can't go full strength. You see, they're touching, but they're not...
Okay, this would be a light sparring session for me, so I can deal with that.
But it is a light sparring, so look, they're not going full speed.
That's what it is. Okay, if it's that, I can do it without suffering too much.
That's fine. I'm sure you're used to suffering like we all are.
I need the stress.
I like tough sparrings, to be honest. I don't enjoy light sparrings.
It has to be honest. It has to be honest.
Yeah, it must be honest. Well, I enjoy it when I train, and you sort of, it's more like fencing, you know.
Well, that's just the Russian style.
Yeah. But that's how they teach us.
Yeah.
That's how they teach us.
For the timing.
In and out. You know, controlling the distance, not even jabbing sometimes, but sort of controlling your opponent's jab.
I totally see what you're talking about.
Changing directions and stuff. This is part of the training, like the classic Soviet school, you know.
In Wales, no such thing. There's no weight categories. A little kid comes out with a bloody nose.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then they tell him to stop complaining.
Well, look.
Everybody to their own.
Yeah, I bet it's the same in Mexico. I mean, Mexico school is just go forward, punch, 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 take punches, and don't be afraid. And, you know, and it works. It works.
Well, it creates tough fighters.
It creates tough fighters.
We only see the tip of the iceberg. All the other guys that, that created that foundation, of these great champions. We don't think about that in those terms.
Absolutely. Now you have another Russian fighter here who's extremely experienced. He's actually an enthusiast of chess boxing. He's got a martial arts school in St. Petersburg, which he owns and runs, and he's got a chess boxing club in his MMA studio. I think he's 43, 44 years old. He still competes in I think Russian combat sambo.
It's Alexandr
Bestuzhev, but then also he's got this school predominantly for kids, where he teaches them chess boxing, introduces them to chess boxing. He's a great guy. He ran a bunch of tournaments in St. Petersburg, fully funded them, organized everything, fantastic guy. And despite being, way over 40 already, I mean, he's in great shape, good boxing, and he's got, decent chess. He sometimes gets a little bit agitated, like in the openings. But he's all right. If he has a good day, he can play some.
He's playing very
decent. He's playing safe. Clearly, he wants a close position. Yeah.
But it's not the way to win games. Or the other guy overpresses
and makes a mistake.
There you go.
Just like in boxing, when you push too hard and then the other guy backs off and.
Well, what we saw with that Indian girl on that fight.
Exactly.
That was exactly.
Oh, wow,
exactly. You're pushing so hard, you're winning, and nobody would put, a cent.
Absolutely,
on the French girl there.
But she was very close to losing.
Exactly. You have to hold your pace during the.
So we don't have an electronic board.
No. So it's some kind of, we used to call this the RUS technique.
Yep.
It came out in a magazine. This is not actually the real one because they do normally fianchetto both.
Fianchetto, yeah.
Right. But I remember seeing that in a magazine when I was a kid. The RUS technique. This is a revolutionary technique. You just have to learn this and you can be a grandmaster.
Unbeatable.
It was so funny, yeah.
Oh, now we have it back on the electronic board.
So, actually, quite very much like the game we just saw.
Yeah.
White hasn't developed the king side, but instead decided to push the pawn. So you have opposite side castles, and it's a bit of a race. It's a bit of a race,
but with the whites advancing on the king's flank, I think they're going to create some trouble, right? And
well, what he's chosen to do is sacrifice a piece for a few
sacrifice
pawns,
a piece,
but at the
for
same
tempo.
time, you're not getting quite a bargain for your for your money, and you've actually opened the lines, which was the idea that white had by advancing the pawn. So is it safe to do that? Normally you need a little bit more. For example, if you would have exchanged the knight against the bishop, something. But here I don't think it's correct. It could work for him, but I don't believe it's correct.
Let's see. So he's, well, obviously wants to somehow either take or spook the knight here, so that he has the central line to attack the king, right? But
the thing is, white now has two plans. Either he could just exchange pieces a little bit,
go into the Endspiel with the
exactly, because he's only got he's got 2 pawns for the piece, right?
Yep.
Which isn't free. And logically, if in the end game he has a piece more, he can take one back. So then it's just a pawn.
But it's really unclear still, right? I mean, it's not an obvious.
I think it's still early days. But like the objective evaluation is actually kind of really on white.
So how would you value it if you were a computer?
Oh, I would say at least 150 plus 2.
Oh, okay. That's significant enough.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't quote me on this, but...
Well, anything could happen, even in the light version. You know, maybe when you start breathing heavy and your heart rate goes up, you also make mistakes. You don't have to be punched in the face to start making mistakes.
Especially if there's a lot of imbalances in the position. If it's a very dry position,
right,
you'd probably be punched a lot more.
Yeah, if you're super familiar with a position, it's very dry, then you're probably not going to make a mistake. But if it's but this one is not, right?
No, this is clearly we're out in a jungle somewhere.
Yeah.
This was Michael Stahl. You have to create a jungle, a forest,
yep,
and you both go in, but only one person comes out.
Yeah, and he felt at home in the jungle. So exactly.
No, definitely, yeah. He would do sacrifices which are incorrect.
Or Fischer, right? Probably.
Well, Fischer was, I mean, a lot more. I don't. Hang on, let's follow the boxing. I'll tell you about Fischer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, look, I mean, if it wasn't light boxing, I think we would have had a knockout or something, because obviously Alexandr has an edge. I mean, being a semi-pro, being a pro Russian combat sambo fighter, he's not a boxer. I mean, he's really good with his.
He's good with his nerves.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen that, right? So the guy is real.
But if he drops him, he might get the penalty, right?
He can't drop. He's not allowed to. He just got a warning, I think.
He got caught
on the liver, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the referee warned.
It warned him. The world has gone around again. Yeah,
but it's still light. Look, they're sparring. It's not like a full-on fight.
I could take those all day. You get a bit of a headache.
Exactly, but it's not right. They're not trying to knock each other out at all.
The problem with this type of headgear is that you can't judge the distance because of you actually get about an inch.
Exactly.
And so you get
you get punched into this thing.
Yeah, it's actually really annoying, and your head goes back because of the weight.
I've tried that. I've tried that a few times. It's really weird. It's like you think you're out of the distance of the jab, but you're not.
Yeah. So because when you're boxing and you're training, it is a question of millimeters.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And you're used to a certain distance. You know when you're out of the distance, out of range, and now all of a sudden it changes, so you don't have the feeling anymore. But it's,
I remember sparring, and I always spar with the headgear on now. And
so Black won 2 rounds of boxing. So now, in accordance with the ChessBoxing Light rules, which was created in 2015 here in Italy, it's the Italians' creation, there's a possibility for a draw if one side wins all the boxing rounds and the other side wins the chess. Then my understanding is it's a draw.
It's a draw.
So if
back to communism.
Exactly. So if the whites win the chess battle here, they guarantee themselves a draw. But that's the only way for them to
And
draw.
I saw that they started with the boxing.
Yeah, look, there's a fork.
Yeah.
Ah, no.
No.
Yeah, there's
right.
a fork, yeah.
100% right. Yeah, it's defended. They could... you could almost push for bishop h6, threatening the mate.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
quite work. I mean, you would just stop that. But that's a he's really
interesting.
coming back. He shook him. He really shook him, I think.
Now he's going to take the rook.
He could take both of them, right? So he's going to take that. Now that rook is going to, and he's going to have time to run out the way. He could take the knight now with the bishop to make sure that he doesn't lose that.
Yep.
He's doing everything correctly.
Yeah, he's very calm now. I mean, he shook him a little bit. Maybe it's the breathing and the heart rate. I don't know. And also the pressures on him to win. Pressures in Fabian to win the chess.
Cardio is definitely, for me, a bigger issue than the actual blows in the face. I mean, blows in the face are not enjoyable while you're, at the time that they happen. But as an effect, I think they just put you in survival mode. They make you think better, if anything else. But the cardio...
Absolutely. But don't you think cardio and stamina have become a major factor in modern chess as well? With like Nepomniachtchi, with his recent finals, and don't you think he just didn't have, or is it more mental than physical? What do you think?
I don't want to give a definite answer to that. I'm not sure how much. I'm pretty sure that if a grandmaster is obese, it's still probably better than being 1500 and in good shape.
That I agree with, but a grandmaster who's obese against a grandmaster who's in great shape.
All things everything else being equal.
And Magnus is in fantastic shape.
He is.
And it's not just because he likes to be in shape. I think it helps him.
Most definitely. Well, this actually did start already after the Second World War.
Yeah?
The whole Botvinnik scientific approach, they were already introducing sports into chess. And then in the modern era, which is like the 70s.
But like Petrosian was out of shape always. I mean, he was a...
I'm not saying it kind of took birth at that point. I'm not saying everybody was applying it. But, people were swimming, people were trying to get in a little... They knew that the nervous system was under pressure. And
so look, now the blacks are just exchanging and...
this has changed quite dramatically.
But look at the clock. It's 26 seconds.
So there's another round of boxing, or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they end here, and if they end here, it's a draw. And if it's a draw, then blacks win. Yep. No.
Well, they have to because there's still time on the clock.
Now they're going to box again. Or not? No, that's it. The blacks win because
he had to win.
It's a tie. He had to win within the time frame on the chess to draw. He couldn't do it, so purely on boxing, Alex won.
Okay.
It's a weird set of rules. It took me a little bit to understand, but
I'm not sure I fully get the picture, but it's interesting. It's interesting for people.
It's an interesting concept. Why not experiment?
Exactly.
Look, we're experimenting with this hybrid sport, so
anyway,
why not? And that, I believe, is the St. Petersburg's, his club's logo or something, with the anchors, because they have this naval school in St. Pete's, which I believe he graduated from. I'm not sure, but...
So it's like Skull and